Senator Tammy Duckworth is a Democrat of Illinois who serves on the Armed Services Committee, also retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and Iraq War veteran, and she joins me now. Senator, your reaction to the news we're getting tonight about the sort of scope and targets of this set of American strikes in retaliation for what happened this weekend?
You know, I thought it was a good balance of balancing showing the might of the United States military and what we can do. I mean, the breadth of the number of targets, 85 of them, the swiftness of the attack, it only took 30 minutes. But also with the president's very careful statements saying that, you know, we do not seek war in the Middle East. I think it sent a strong message, but also said, OK, we don't want war. But if you want to go to war, this is what we got. And I thought it was a nice balancing act on the part of the president.
I wanted to get your thoughts as someone who served in combat in Iraq. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was just about 20 years ago this year that your helicopter was shot down there while you were working as a combat pilot. That 20 years later, that we face a situation in which that government is, you know, very bound to Iran, that there are Iranian-backed militias there, and that here we are on the year 2024 striking inside Iraq.
Yeah, and we only just voted to repeal the AUMF, the Authorization for Use of Military Force, last year. That went all the way back to the beginning of the war, and we still have one that is still in effect. So my thoughts are really worried about what some of my Republican colleagues, you know, right after the tragedy of our three heroes being killed, so many of my Republican colleagues just made these really inflammatory statements like take it to Tehran, you know, calling recklessly for a retaliation. And I certainly want to retaliate. I'm heartbroken that our service members were killed and so many were wounded. But also, we have to be careful that we don't escalate ourselves into another war, another endless war. That's right. This year is my 20th year since I was wounded in Iraq. And it took, 19 years for us to repeal the AUMF. So we have to be very careful that as we respond, we don't get ourselves into the path with no off-ramp towards a war in the Middle East yet again. The best thing we can do to honor our service members is to make sure we don't send them into harm's way in a thoughtless manner.
Do you have thoughts about just where we are in the broader trajectory of the conflict there? Obviously, there is long-standing context for the conflict, of course, which is the aftermath of the Iraq War, the sort of standing up of a variety of Iranian proxies throughout the region, what they call an axis of resistance, and that's part of this context here. But part of it is the closer context, of course, of the Hamas attack on Israel October 7th and the ongoing Israeli counteroffensive, and what that has done to the region and how that has incited some, escalation by a variety of those Iranian groups.
Well, Iran has been backing all of these groups all over, and I think what this shows us is the breadth of their involvement. And remember that it's not just the terrorists that are carrying out these groups, but Iran is now backed opposition leaders who have been elected to the Iraqi parliament. You know, when we helped the Iraqis write their constitution and set up a new parliament and their Supreme Court in Iraq after the war, I don't think we ever dreamt that Iran would actually be a proxy actor with people elected to the Iraqi parliament. It's absolutely astonishing. And I think where we are right now is a reaction to the ongoing efforts to normalize relations between Israel and other Middle Eastern nations. You know, you have the Abraham Accords. Saudi Arabia and Israel were on the verge of signing an agreement when Hamas attacked. I think all of these things are connected. But I think this retaliation tonight by the president sent a very strong message to Iran that enough is enough, and you need to call back some of these proxy groups.
All right, Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, thank you so much for making time for us. I appreciate it.